You're reading through Ecclesiastes, you almost can't make it through a whole chapter without hearing about the toil of our labor under the sun. And the word used for work in Ecclesiastes, it carries a negative connotation. That's what makes toil a really good translation. But why negative? Why is there an issue when it comes to these things, when it comes to work? Why does the writer of Ecclesiastes come at it with a negative bent? All of Ecclesiastes is written understanding the fall of man. With the collapse of human perfection and the curse on men to work by the sweat of their brow, we have what we have now. We have this miasma amongst our laborers. Work was not the curse, because Adam and Eve had jobs in the garden, but the toilsome nature of work was. Good morning, Sean. Happy to see you. Happy to have you here. Can you imagine what it would be like to never have a bad thought about work? Any work, like your job or like housework, anything. All your labor was enjoyable and everyone you worked with was a delight. But that is now a daydream because somebody decided to listen to reptiles. So here we are. But that cloud of the fall of man, it hangs over the whole book of Ecclesiastes. Everything is toil and vapor because of the fall. Everything you work for will succumb to the destructive forces of the earth. Moths will eat it, rust will destroy it. The person who has control over it after you won't appreciate it or even maintain it like you do. And so it will fall into ruin. It's all vapor and it's all chasing after the wind. Welcome to your morning of encouragement. I'll be your tour guide, Pastor Josh. So this is what makes every man's labor a vanity or a vapor. The author of Ecclesiastes is intentionally vague regarding the specific kind of work or forms of work he's talking about. His aim instead is to hit at a general application of the word for all forms of labor so he can speak to the broadest audience possible. Right? If he just starts talking about construction work, well, that the rest of us who aren't in construction just kind of zone out and tune out and fall away. But he's saying all avenues of work because it affects all of them. Good morning, Miss Henrietta. So by this, the reader then is meant to see all forms of work as laborious and toilsome and even vexing. I have been known to be quite vexing. And yet, the author concludes throughout the book that we are to find pleasure in our labor. Well, how does that work? Right? If labor is a toil and it's all subject to the fall of man and ruin and decay and vaporousness, how do we find pleasure in our labor? Ecclesiastes 2:24 and 25, it says, "There is nothing better for a man than to eat and drink and tell himself that his labor is good. This also I have seen, that it is from the hand of God, for who can eat and who can have enjoyment without him?" The conclusion that there's nothing better than eating, drinking, and enjoying your labor is seen as a gift from God. We look at work and are sometimes vexed by it, but there's a solid amount of time where we actually enjoy what we do. Maybe not the thing that pays the bills, but maybe you like making things with your hands. Maybe you like doing the dishes because that's the only time people leave you alone and you can think. I made I think I showed you guys, a little toilet frog who now just kind of hangs out in our bathroom. Why? Because I enjoyed it. It made me giggle inside. I enjoyed that little labor. It's a lot of cleanup work and a little bit of paint and some designing stuff, but now I have a toilet frog. Not many people can say that. Our lives are temporary, fleeting vapors. Our work is just as temporary. Nothing lasts forever. So God has given us the ability to enjoy our work in this window of mist. So enjoy it while you can. Why spend the minuscule time you have on this earth grumpy and depressed about the things that aren't going to last anyway? Good morning, Marina. Thank you. You too. So enjoy it. Choose to enjoy it. Choose joy. Choose pleasure in your labor and toils. It's vapor. It's going to go away. But you can enjoy it. You don't have to let it bog you down. Remember that it's vapor. It can't last, right? It can't be this bad forever because nothing lasts forever. But also, there are elements of it that you can enjoy, that you do enjoy. So on a very practical note, because Ecclesiastes can be a very practical kind of theology. All theology is truly practical when you break it back down. But it's a much more hands-on kind of a thing. It tells you to choose joy. Enjoy what you do. Because this is the only time you get to do it in this way.